Got it, got it.
Hello friends, welcome to Insight with GlamGuru with me Abhishek, and once again we are back this weekend in front of you with someone special and a topic of your interest and something which must have been, a consideration for all of you in past couple of years as far as the pageants industry is concerned in India, and that is the telecast, the media coverage, and you can say the lifeline of pageant, that is the exposure to these contestants, winners, and to this industry which makes them worthy of watching and desiring to be an international stage. And we have come across to you with many aspects of pageant industry. We have discussed about the relevancy of pageants in India. We have discussed about the advertising part, how you got to see this event live. We've also discussed about the impact of these pageants on the economy and the kind of exposure it has provided to these girls who have brought so much to the country. But today we are going to talk about something very important in terms of how the media and the mainstream media is providing and giving the exposure to these 90s and early 20s, when India was there at the international level, winning the titles every 2.5 years and making sure that our girls are getting their equal amount of coverage and consideration by the mainstream media. But in the last decade, we have seen the kind of coverage and the kind of conversations we have had on live television clearly give us an indication that there is something beyond. So to understand that and how this whole industry works, what are the things which are considered in order to make sure whether the pageant should be live or not, and how the media planning is done in order to make you aware about these victories, and also at the same time to make sure that a good coverage and good enough exposure is given to these contestants. But the question arises once again, who we have today to discuss and to give his insight on this topic today. So, well, without further delay, I'm going to introduce you to our guest tonight. As you all know, and you have seen in our promotion as well, that today we are having with ourselves Mr. Vineet Malhotra. He is the prime-time host and anchor for NewsX, a popular and one of the top English news channels in India. Before this, Mr. Malhotra was the executive editor of Tiranga TV alongside with journalists such as Barkha Dutt and Karan Thapar. He has spent almost 2 decades working for all the marquee news channels of the country and has hosted over 5,000 shows over this period, from national elections to the IPL and the ICC Cricket World Cup to the Commonwealth Games. Mr. Malhotra has hosted a variety of groundbreaking stories and has a great experience of working with the mainstream media. Hello sir, welcome to Insight with GlamGuru, and thank you so much for giving your time to us today.
Hi Abhishek, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Absolutely. And before I start my conversation today with you, I would like to request all of our viewers to join us today, because Mr. Malhotra is here with us and he will be giving his insight about the kind of exposure these pageants have been given in the past couple of years and what is the current situation, and we're going to discuss all the aspect of it with all of you. Sir, I would like to start the conversation with putting up the first question to you, and this is, do you think that the kind of coverage, the kind of presence of beauty pageants, these international events, and specifically to the victories of Miss India's or other representatives, other delegates, what is your first take on that, on the kind of coverage currently the media is giving to them?
Abhishek, it's a very interesting topic that you have picked up, because I was in school when Aishwarya Rai and Sushmita Sen were crowned Miss World and Miss Universe respectively. And
yes.
I remember, that used to be the first headline on every news
yes.
channel. In fact, there were not too many channels those days. But
yes.
on news platforms, a lot of smaller news shows on different channels all across the country, there used to be a lot of excitement pertaining to the pageant.
Yes.
But I think over the years, its sheen and its essence has somehow been compromised due to a number of factors. we'll,
So what do you?
watching an
Yes,
international
yes,
show in Saudi at that point in time was very interesting.
yes,
You have the world at your feet. You have everything that you want on your phone. You can just open YouTube and you can watch anything live. Even if you miss it, you can just watch the replay or the
yes,
highlights. So I think for that
yes,
reason, the slowed down. I wouldn't say it's gone. It's just slowed down.
yes. So what are the things
Yeah.
I would like to add on to what you are saying? You are saying that it has slowed down. No, we cannot say that there is overlook to this coverage. But do you think what it has really to do with the kind of performance these contestants and these delegates are giving at the international arena, or there is a change in the advertising or the marketing part or the perspective of pageants in India? What do you think is the key reason, or what are the factors which we really want to know, which affects all these decisions?
Marketing around these events is obviously a big factor, and companies
Yeah.
over the years, their budgets for digital have expanded, whereas their budgets
Yes.
for television and entertainment avenues have shrunk.
Yeah.
I think that is the main reason why beauty pageants find themselves a little testy when it comes to people coming up for sponsorship. Uh, I
Yes.
also think that there are other events, Abhishek, which have superseded, if I can use that
Yes.
word, the beauty.
Yes.
We no longer have just these beauty pageants that entertain you and enthrall you. If you open up any entertainment channel today, there is lots of content out there. After all, any pageant,
Yes.
Abhishek, is content, right? And with the plethora
Yeah.
and cornucopia that the content that is available today, we have
Yes.
multiple choices. You have Netflix, you have Prime Video, you have YouTube, you have Sony Live, you have Boot, you have tons
Yes.
of
Yes.
avenues where you can in fact content. People
Absolutely.
do not have that kind of attachment with live pageantry anymore. You would still want to watch a live cricket match, right? Because it brings communities together. You would still want
Yes.
to watch a movie together because it brings a family
Yeah.
together. You can watch a movie as a family, but you will never watch news together as a family. You will not open up NDTV or you will not open any news channel and watch that as a family unless there is a big calamity that has happened. But when it comes to family viewing, I think beauty pageants do not hold that kind of importance anymore because of there's so
Yes.
much content, there's so much to choose from.
Absolutely. And that thing, I think that's the exact reason that we have seen a kind of, yes, there is no doubt of the fact that, bringing pride to a country has always been a priority for all of our audiences. And we've also seen that after Manushi Chilla winning the Miss World title just 3 years back in 2017, people accepted it and they wanted to know more about her. Mainstream media gave her quite significant coverage. She was interviewed, she was invited all over the place. But sir, talking about the other aspect of it, do you think it has majorly to do with the kind of coverage is being given to them, or it is the choices of the people, or the agencies, or the marketing people who think that whether it should be live or not, or whether we should take that story in a discussion in prime time, or maybe make a special program for it? So what is the actual situation? Is it about the channels or the media houses, or it is about the perspective of the people who is not much interested into pageants anymore?
Abhishek, you mentioned a very interesting point. You spoke about Manushi Chillar. Nobody knew. Most of the people who've been part of social media juggernaut in India did not have any inkling that there was somebody called
Yeah.
Manushi Chillar, and she only became
Yes.
famous after she won it. And
Yes.
she became famous because of the explosion that news had on Twitter.
Yeah.
People read about
Yes.
it, people retweeted it. There was a sense of national pride attached to it, and that is why Manushi
Yeah.
Chillar became such an overnight phenomena and a sensation because of social
Yes.
media. And obviously, there was national pride attached to it, and that is the only reason. Even the
Yes.
company that perhaps was organizing this event did not market it enough.
Yes.
I mean, there were perhaps mentions here and there in newspaper supplements, but it
Yes.
was not something that registered. And the only way
Yeah.
we found out was through social media. So that's what I'm trying to tell you is that when such events happen, people can gauge the interest. people who are organizing it, people who are putting money in it, can gauge the interest. You watch the IPL, Abhishek, you have actual
Yes.
figures. These many number of people will be watching. These many number of people
Yes.
will be exposed to a product.
Yes.
At the end of the day, Abhishek, it's the exposure to your product. If I'm a vendor,
Yes.
I want my product to be registered amongst audience. What's the first thing that comes
Yes.
to my mind? Obviously, it's going to be the IPL because of the sheer volume which is attached
Yes.
to it. You know, so I think it's only a game of logistics. And for the past few years, this is another point I would like to make. That back in the days, if I remember, late uh, 90s and early 2000s, if you want to miss India or if
Yes.
you want to miss World Miss Universe, there was an automatic ticket to Bollywood.
Yes.
You would at least feature in one movie. It was your
Yes.
luck, your the talent that you held on to that position, or the film tanked like it did for Diana Hayden, like it did for
Yes.
Yukta Mukhi, like it did for
Yeah.
Panag. Many other who in fact ventured into Bollywood, but they couldn't do well. Then it's a different story. Today it's even tougher. I haven't seen Manushi
Yes.
Chillar in any movie. It's been 2-3 years. She hasn't been in any movie. I don't know if I did hear rumors that she is coming in a movie with Akshay Kumar.
Yes.
But-
Yes.
but- but-
She's coming to the movie with Akshay Kumar. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Well, and she was Miss World about 3 years ago, 2 years ago.
Yes.
So she's
2007.
she's had to wait to get this opportunity.
Yes.
So
Yes,
obviously,
absolutely. And I think yes, I would like to add on to what you were saying, that absolutely the dynamics have changed and the industry, earlier you have put it very, very well, that winning Miss India used to be direct entry to a Bollywood. So many girls, Neha Dhupia, Tanushri Datta, Amrita Thapar, and, so many girls later on also, Sarah Jane Dias, Pooja Gupta, so many girls getting these offers hand in hand. But that is not the situation right now. Now taking this as an advantage for the girls, I would like to ask you now that, do you think that, what is the reason behind that, we are not able to see much of pageants coming in the mainstream as far as the coverage and as far as the priority to such event or such breakings are concerned? I mean, I would like to recall some of the memories. I clearly remember in 2009 when Ekta Chaudhary couldn't make it to the top 15 of Miss Universe in Bahamas. It was a breaking on India TV. They said Miss India race se bahar, couldn't make it to top 15, and many other channels as well, including Aaj Tak, Z News, or the leading leading national channels. Why is it the case now that they are not taken much rigorously as it used to be in the late 20s or in the last decade, and now we only get to see the coverage or the news or program, or it is a victory?
The answer to your question is in the question that you asked me. You said that why aren't people talking about this anymore with as much seriousness as we used to? Okay, let me give you an analogy. Let me give you a similar situation. Think about the Indian Kabaddi team or the hockey team or the Indian Kho-Kho team or the Indian badminton team whenever they go and play in the Olympics or the Commonwealth Games. When do people actually start getting serious about covering them? They start getting serious about covering them when they are on the verge of entering a semi-final or if they've gone to a final. Before that, all their major group rounds are ignored. How they got to the semi-finals is completely ignored. And if they lose in the semi-finals, you will just see a very thinly mentioned ticker on any news channel, and then that news fades away. As Indians, as consumers, I think we are more attached to victories now. We are more attached to wins.
Yes.
We just don't want to know if someone has entered a semi-final or a quarterfinal. We want to know that they will win. The reason why cricket gets so much traction, Abhishek, is because there's always this possibility that the Indian team will surge ahead, because there are only 12 countries that play cricket. India is one of the strongest. We're in the top 5, and most of the time we're on the top teams in the ICC, ODI, T20 or Test cricket format. It's just recently that Australia has taken over. So I think that's the logic. That at the end, it all boils down to the kind of interest the event organizer can generate. You can make your events more interesting. You can package it well. You can give
Yes.
a lot of color to it. There was the
Yes.
very recent, a couple of years ago, there was a Miss Universe tournament which was highly popular because the host Steve Harvey read the wrong
Yes.
result.
Yes.
He read the wrong result, and
Yes.
had it not happened, Abhishek, nobody
Yeah.
would have known who was the winner, from which country she
And
was,
what happened? Absolutely.
and that only got popular, Abhishek, because
Yes.
it exploded on social media.
Yes. Yes.
And
Absolutely, I can very well
yeah,
recall that. You have really rightly mentioned 2015 Miss Universe stage in Las Vegas, and it happened. Colombia was announced as the wrong winner, and Philippines was the actually winner, and that created a lot of controversy, and at the same time give a huge mileage to the Miss Universe pageant that year. And people started following that pageant so well. But sir, you told about that. It's more about the victories and the kind of placement these girls are getting. But if we talk about Miss World pageant, which is the most popular in India, people know about this, and they celebrate the victories. After Manushi, also last year only, Suman Rao making the second runner-up. That's also a very good placement for India. She was Miss World Asia, so that also has happened. And we are witnessing that the organization is trying to push these things through social media, through making these girls interact with the audiences. Do you think what more needs to be done in order to make these pageants more of common interest to the viewers, so that they can relate to it, like just like any other international event, be it Cricket World Cup or the Olympics or the Commonwealth Games? It is called the World Cup of Beauty, but why? What do you think? What more needs to be done in order to make sure that it gets its prestige and pride back once again on television?
hmm. you know, I think when India had Aishwarya Rai and Sushmita Sen and then Diana Eden and Dikshita Mukhi and Priyanka Chopra and all these girls, Nara
Yes.
Datta, when, when,
Yes.
when they did become, they became, India was a growing economy. There
Yes.
was a lot of investment being made. There were a lot of marketing tools being applied so that these winners could convert these victories
Yes.
into the development of the Indian economy, the
Absolutely.
openness of the Indian economy, and that to some extent, Abhishek, has been achieved for India.
Yes.
So it served its purpose.
Yes.
I think that is another reason why this particular platform finds an erosion of viewership.
Yes.
Marketing companies, industries, and the corporates in general
Yes.
prefer quick results. They prefer quick
Yes.
results. They prefer something which is last them a long time. And
Yes.
earlier there was a lot of glamour attached to
Yes.
beauty pageants. I'm not saying there's no glamour attached to them now, but with the promotion that we used to see earlier, there was
Yes.
an inkling that it is going to be a great event to uphold. It's like the Filmfare
Yes.
Awards. It's like Stardust Awards. It's like the Oscars,
Yes.
and they used to be promoted as such. But now, I think they're more on-ground sponsors than they are television sponsors for these products because they have more avenues, and marketing budgets are primarily focused on digital these days because companies
Yes.
also want quick results, something that they can quantify. And with digital, it's easy to quantify who's watching, when they are watching, and how much they have watched. So I think the transformation from live TV to digital is something which has to be done in beauty pageants as well. It has to be done very aggressively.
Well,
In fact,
absolutely.
if they want to telecast something like this, they should do a YouTube live. They should
Yeah.
simultaneously do a YouTube live. They should tie up with platforms all across the world
Yes.
and incentivize these channels, these platforms, carrying
I
these
think you have really made a very
particular
valid point here, which I really want to, add on to, because we are seeing that international pageants, yes, they are getting live on YouTube, live streamed on Facebook as well, so that they can join with the bigger audiences. But in India, Indian market and in Indian players has not done it so far. I mean, the television rights are with some channel. If I mention a name like Colors, but they telecast it after 15 days. We have seen other editions as well, delayed telecast, and that kind of automatically reduces the interest of the people to watch it because it's not live. Now coming to that live portion, sir, I would like to ask you that Miss Universe pageant specifically has not been live in India from 2017. The last time it was live telecast in the year 2016, and it was on Z Cafe. And Miss World at the same time is only on the platforms of Times of India like Zoom or Romedy Now. So that is again a kind of push from the organization side to make it visible to the audiences in India. What do you think? Why? The channels, what are the reasons behind no channel picking up these international events? They are not much interested to show them live in their country, and if there are no live coverage to this event like Miss Universe, how can we expect a title, or how can we expect India to do well there?
Obviously, most of what the channels pick up today is actually based on what works on digital, what works on YouTube, what works on Instagram, what works on Facebook. And based on that strategy and based on that report and factual report, you decide editorially as well what you want to show. And I think that's exactly why beauty pageants are not being covered, because there is no viewership online as well. If there is no promotion, if there are stars attending or being judges of a beauty pageant, it's not promoted perhaps on Instagram and Facebook, because everything now is slowly moving to these handful of platforms, Abhishek. And if these companies do not acclimatize to it, if they do not make this transformation of sorts into digitizing these platforms, then it's an uphill battle, because people do not usually watch TV anymore, like I said earlier as well. For beauty pageants, television is mostly watched for live cricket or watching movies or documentaries. Even news documentary today is watched on a handheld device, because it is the second TV. Your phone is your second television now. In fact, it's your first television now, and your TV at home is second television.
Absolutely.
And that's the reason why these programs and a lot of these beauty pageants, unfortunately, have slipped into oblivion. They have been forgotten. Because you would want to watch a pageant, Abhishek. If you can investigate my interest into following the people who are a part of it. People don't watch events just. Would you watch Indian cricket team if there was no Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, Ajinkya Rahane, and all of these stalwarts? If there's a new team tomorrow which you don't know anything about, will you watch India play cricket?
Absolutely. Yes.
Because the people who've been roped in, that matter, and if these people are important, promote them. If they're not important, get rid of them.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that's a really valid point you have made, that it's about the team and it's about the kind of efforts on the organization side, and also from the advertising, the marketing team, whether they want to make it more aggressive to the audiences so that it is worth watching and it is also interest of the people. Now, I would like to take some of the questions which we are getting from our followers, and we have I'm flashing one question from Kritika, and she's saying totally agree with the expert. We are more attached to victory. She's agreeing to your point, which you have just mentioned earlier. We also have Aparnika, and she's saying that, do you think that beauty pageants are ticket to Bollywood? I think you have answered it, sir. If you want to add on more to it, if we can talk about in the current situation, do you think it is right now also is as prominent as it used to be earlier?
Well, it's a valid question that beauty pageants are a ticket to Bollywood. Well, Aparnika, they used to be, not anymore. And I'll be very careful about what I say about people entering into Bollywood these days, because of what happened last month with a notable actor. There is this whole issue of nepotism and people who are from the industry only being promoted. But I think if you are a winner in a beauty pageant, that takes care of at least one aspect of your life. That you are easy on the eyes, you look good on the camera. And that is something that you have to worry about. After that, it's just a process. Whether it's acting, whether it's making contacts, whether it's enhancing your skills as somebody who comes on TV. And for that, you have a number of avenues that one can explore.
Yes,
And
absolutely. And I think, yes, 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 you can carry on. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So basically, that's all I have to say about that. Beauty pageants are, basically they build your confidence. If you have won a beauty pageant or two, that definitely helps you in front of the camera. That helps you in terms of reaching out to people. That you've already proved yourself in one avenue, and here you are trying to prove
Yes.
yourself in another. But everybody doesn't succeed. Everybody doesn't make
Yes.
it to Bollywood. Some people don't even want to get into Bollywood. After
Yes.
they win pageants.
And also, sir, I think it's about the kind of industry we are, the kind of setup which is currently there. I mean, in other countries like the Philippines, they celebrate beauty on another level. For them, winning an international title is as equal as winning a World Cup or any other big event. They celebrate their victories. If I talk about other Asian countries like Thailand, Cambodia, and Vietnam, these are the emerging countries which now witnessing the scene which India has already witnessed in the late 90s and early 20s, and that's the kind of, I think, shift right now in the industry as well. And I would like to add on to what you were saying, that I think there are more platforms also available. We can see new talent coming in from different ways in the industry, the Bollywood industry. So you necessarily need not to be a model or need not to be a beauty pageant winner, or need to be a star kid. We have so many new talent coming in on their own worth. And as you said, digitally we have Netflix coming in, Amazon Prime, and so many opportunities for these young talent to come in this arena. I'm going to take one more question quickly, sir, before we conclude today's show. We have Manav Singh, and he's saying, do you think India will be powerhouse of beauty back again? Do you think the possibility, or in the current context, with a kind of coverage, with a kind of victories, and overall perspective, do you think we will be back once again as the shining star of this industry, and our girls will be getting more and more titles? And do you think our future for India is a powerhouse of pageants once again?
Well, let me tell you one thing, that just because we don't make it big in pageant doesn't mean that we are not a beauty powerhouse. We already are a beauty
Yes.
powerhouse. Winning these pageants is not an endorsement or a certificate of the beauty that persists in India, or that exists in India. Uh, it's a contest, and it should be taken as such. Even if you don't make it, even if you don't win it, it's absolutely fine. That's not going to seize or make us less beautiful as Indians. We should enjoy it if we win it, and we should just
Yes.
laugh it off when we don't, because at the end of the day, it's just a game, it's just a contest, it's just something which is done, to enthrall the audience, and give a texture of sorts to these contests. And we should be pretty open-minded about it. And I'm sure that Venezuela is a country which has produced
Yes.
the maximum number of Miss Universes
And Miss
in the
World.
history. And they went about 6 to 7 years without winning any title in
Yes.
either Miss World or Miss Universe. That did not mean
Yes.
beautiful women were not being born in that country. They were perhaps just not coming ahead. They were not coming forward to take part in these contests. And I think beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder, and
Yes.
you're really full of beauty. You just have to open your eyes and see.
Absolutely, and that's, you rightly put it out. It's, beauty is either beholders, and we need to make sure that we have a right talent at the right place at the right time, and that makes a victory for India. Now, sir, it's time to conclude our show, and before going, I really want to, ask you finally, that do you think now, with the kind of discussion we have had, do you think that channels, the advertisers, and the media houses should consider taking these platforms as one more platform for young talented girls who are making India proud? Do you think, what kind of changes would you recommend in order to make sure that these girls and these victories and this industry also get that kind of exposure that it used to get? And do you think that telecasting live them on television would also be a good idea? Or what kind of suggestion would you like to give in order to have great exposure for these victories at pan India level?
My only suggestion is that we need to stay in tune with the times. We need to,
Yes,
in fact, incorporate the latest digital transformative tools which are available to any coverage to make any event popular or any
yes,
event increase its outreach. And I think that is where the failure has been seen in these pageants. They have not kept with the times. They haven't kept up with the pace of development of social interaction and social magnetism. What people want, what are people attracted to, what galvanizing them into watching a particular tournament. I think it's also a
yes,
matter of research for all these tournaments and all these pageants, that why they have not been able to get the kind of traction that they used to get earlier. They perhaps thought that it is a tried and tested formula. There is no need to tweak it. There is no need to reinvent the wheel, and that is exactly
yes.
where they went wrong. I think there should be a digital introspection in these pageants, and there should be a revival of the telecast, the broadcasting strategy, the social
Yes.
media strategy. And I think once again, this particular platform will be able to get the kind of eyeballs and attention that it once received. You just have to realize, what haven't you kept up with?
Absolutely, and I think that's a really good point to conclude today's show. That it is really about the approach, and we need to figure out, and the industry need to think about it, that how they are going to take this opportunity. If our girls are performing great, they are getting victories, we are getting runners-ups, we are getting top five. We need to give them that kind of exposure. And as our guest tonight said, that it's very required to come and go with the flow and to utilize the opportunity which is in the time, and that is the power of the digital, and to make sure that the conventional media along with the new media, the amalgamation of both of them is gonna make sure that these girls and these victories are getting their due on in the mainstream media, and we will not be able to question or discuss anything in that way. So quickly, before concluding, we just got one more person who really want to interact and want to say. We have Mrs. Nija Agrawal, and she's saying, why small town girls not able to participate? If you can quickly answer the question by Mrs. Nija, why small town girls are not able to participate?
Well, I really don't think there is a small town or a big town when it comes to selection of people who qualify. Yeah,
Yes,
you have to take a big risk, while competing in these contests and these pageants, and you have to have a big heart for them. I don't think that small town girls are in any way
yes,
lesser than those who live in major cities. It's just how you groom yourself. If you have to
yes,
go out there and be a politician, you need to be knowledgeable. If you
yes,
have to go out there and be an actor, you need to know what acting is. If you have to go out there and be an anchor, you need to know
yes,
the fine nuances of anchoring. And if you have to be
yes.
Miss India or Miss World, you need to do and know what's required. Small town or big town really doesn't matter.
Absolutely, and I think that's the reason we have latest victories also coming from small town. Manushi Chiller from Haryana, she was a medical student winning the Miss World, and we have Vartika Singh from Lucknow, we have Pankuri Gidwani, and so many girls, Priyanka Kumari from Patna, Supriya Amin from Patna. So many girls coming, and you absolutely put it in the right way, that it's about the talent, and now the opportunities are very well available for everyone. Thank you so much, Mr. Vineet Malhotra, for joining us tonight on Insight with GlamGuru. It was pleasure having you tonight, and the kind of inputs, your insight, and your experience, your forte on this in this industry has really given us a lot of knowledge and perspective, and a lot of questions have been answered about the kind of confusion people have about the pageants and the kind of coverage and why media is not taking them. Thank you so much for your time, and it was really great talking to you tonight on Insight with GlamGuru.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
Absolutely. So that was friend, our guest for tonight, Mr. Vineet Malhotra. He is the consulting editor and the primetime anchor of the News X. You find him daily on the telecast on the channel. He was here with us, and he was discussing the kind of coverage and the complete complaints we usually see about the kind of coverage. And he really pointed out well that it's about the time. We need to make sure that we go along with the time. It's not about the lack of attention by any channel or any other media house. It's about utilizing the opportunity in the right way, and to make sure that these victories are not only celebrated by the mainstream channels but also being recognized by the people in general. And they also need to push and need to make sure that these girls and these victory get their due on the television as they used to get. So thank you so much for joining us on Insight with GlamGuru. We'll keep coming back to you next weekend with someone new and a great topic. Till then, do like and follow our page on Facebook, and also don't forget to subscribe our channel on YouTube. Now we are also there. Keep following us, and have a great night. Stay home, stay safe, and we will be right back next week. Good night.